Shalom, shalom, saints and future subscribers of AOSD, CHANDLER, Assembly of Sound Doctrine Chandler, found on YouTube, as well as RPK-Resurrection Prophecy and Kingdom, found on YouTube, Garden Ministries, found on YouTube. Check out my TikTok, KINGDONEL, Kingdom L. And you can also go to Clubhouse and type in Assembly Sound Doctrine, or RPK University, or Garden Ministries. Tonight, yes, it is night, it's time to unearth another mystery. We shall all be changed. If all things been fulfilled, what does this mean? Walk with me as we explore and unearth another hidden mystery. So now the adoption had came. They are now sons of God again, the sons and daughters of God in the first century. He has now adopted them. So we have a few questions that was in the prophecies of old that had to be understood. And a lot of people don't understand it today. So let's see if we can unearth this. 1 John 3:2. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, and it doth not yet appear what we shall be. But we know when he shall appear, we shall be like him, for we shall see him as he is. Now we know that the Lord makes himself known in visions and dreams, as stated in Numbers, and we can see it in the book of Acts played out from the prophecy of Joel. But the point is, they're going to be like the Lord and see the Lord just like he is. The whole community. Let's see how the Lord was and how he's viewed in the true spiritual world. What does he look like? Matthew 17:1-2. And after 6 days, Jesus taketh Peter, James, and John his brother, and bringeth them up into a high mountain apart, and was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. Verses 7-9. And Jesus came and touched them, and said, Arise and be not afraid. And when they had lifted up their eyes, they saw no man save Jesus only. And as they came down from the mountain, Jesus charged them, saying, Tell the vision to no man, until the Son of Man be risen again from the dead. So Peter, James, and John was able to see the glorified Messiah. They said his face shone like the sun, and his clothes became white as raiment. We see something similar dealing with Moses when he got the law. His face was shining, and he had to put a veil over his face. But now we see how magnificent, how the Messiah actually looked in the spiritual realm. And when the disciples saw him in their spiritual eyes, with their spiritual eyes, they saw the true Messiah and how he looked. So now John is saying the people of the first century were supposed to be like the Messiah, and look how he looked when he got ready to return. And he said it was kind of confusing. We don't know what we will be, but we will be like him, and we will see him as he is. Let's keep unearthing that's not new. That's not nothing new. What John was curious about. Let's show you. The prophet Daniel, chapter 12, verse 2-3. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So piggybacking off of that Abrahamic covenant that his descendants will be like the stars of the sky, now in this new heaven and earth illusion, we find out that the wise people will shine as the stars of the new heavens and earth. The wise people will shine like the stars, and those that turn many to righteousness, that's conversion, they're going to shine like the stars forever. So we got one, the wise, shining like the brightness of the firmament, and the people who convert, who's part of teaching people about the Messiah, converting those people, they're going to shine like the stars forever. So how the Messiah was shining when he was saw in the vision, his true glory, the people themselves was supposed to shine. So we can see that this is evolving around wisdom and being smart. That's why the head is shining. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 8:1. Who is as the wise man, and who knoweth the interpretation of a thing? A man's wisdom maketh his face to shine, and the boldness of his face shall be changed. So we got that Holy Spirit wisdom. We got that wisdom that makes a person's face shine. And as John said, they're going to see the Lord just how he is. They didn't know how they was going to be, but they knew that they was going to change. They was going to transform. But what would that look like? What would that actually look like in the present world, or in the world where Christ is ruling? What would that look like? James 3:17 and 18. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated, full of mercy and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace. We can clearly see that the people in the spiritual eyes, under the spiritual understanding, they're shining and looking like the stars in the sky. But on the natural plane, it's seen through their actions, their righteous actions. But let's continue on. 1 Corinthians 15:52. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, that's that change again. The same moment in the twinkling of the eye when Adam and Eve wanted that other wisdom, the wisdom the Lord didn't want them to have. That tree was to make one wise. And in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, they changed. So now in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, it's going to be another change, another transfiguration. Corinthians 15 is talking about that covenantal change. But let's continue on. 2 Corinthians 3:17 through 18. Now the Lord is that Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty. But we all, with open face, beholding as in a glass the glory of the Lord, are changed into the same image from glory to glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. As 1 Corinthians 15 was explaining, how the people that was in the image of the earthly was going to put on the image of the heavenly. And we find out that just like a mirror, just like the sun, as you can see, I got light right here reflecting off my face. The reflection of the Messiah was going to be reflecting off of the people who followed him. They're going to be changed. They're going to turn into more of the image of the heavenly Adam and become that type of man. This is what Christ is teaching them, dealing with the kingdom of heaven. Matthew 5:14. Ye are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it giveth light unto all that are in the house. See, all creation was groaning, waiting on the sons of God to take dominion back so they could be led in righteousness and receive that peace, that godly, that Christly peace. Christ appeared. They was going to be like him because they was going to see him how he was. His glory was going to reflect off of them into the world. They would be in the image of the Lord. See, there has not been a time period when a covenant was around and the Lord's people was actually doing what they were supposed to do. So this was going to be a time period in the world when the sons of God was going to actually be doing what they were supposed to be doing. A nation without sin. They didn't know what that looked like yet. They didn't know what it looked like to be glorified, but it was going to happen. And they was going to reflect the Messiah, just like this light right here is being reflected off of my face. The glory from the Messiah was reflecting off the people that he chose in his body. Subscribe to the channel.